Okay, so let's now move on to the loop. So this void loop here, the Arduino knows, okay, this tells it that now that you're here, you're gonna be in a loop, and it's just gonna be cycle, 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 cycle. So you do these functions as long as you are in this loop, and I'll go ahead and I'll tell you how the Arduino stays in the loop. So in your case, in this example, let's say we have now void loop, and then you have your brackets, that. All right, so in my case, since I want to explain what these brackets do, void loop just means that repeat this particular task. So as a human, there are a lot of things that we do at the same time. So I can tell you that I want you to continue eating eggs that are in this configuration for life. You see, because you could loop maybe for certain hours in a day, and then this specifies how I want the loop or this function to be configured. I could either tell you eat them for life, eat them for 2 hours, and for as long as this thing in this bracket holds, you're gonna do this repeating step until this thing here becomes untrue. So the only time you're gonna stop eating these eggs is when your life ends. And if I specify here 2 hours, then you're gonna eat these eggs repeatedly in the same way for 2 hours. So essentially this is how it works. Then after this, I can just tell you maybe, okay, so fry the egg, put aromat, and then use a spoon. And then after this, maybe I can also specify further instructions. So while you in this eating phase, maybe I want you to chew this 2 times, like maybe 2 times, and then I want you to maybe wait 2 seconds, and then afterwards I want you to swallow. Okay, I'm not really sure how you spell swallow. Yeah, but okay, yeah. So these are the instructions that you are gonna be doing as long as you live. You're gonna be eating eggs that are fried with aromat. You're gonna chew them twice, wait 2 seconds, and then swallow them. And you're gonna be in this loop for life. If I specify 2 hours, you're gonna do this for 2 hours. So if you understand this, this works the same way with your Arduino. So coming here back to this example. So here you have your setup. So now I know that, okay, pin mode 8, I'm going to use it as an output, and then pin mode 9 as an input. And then I'm going to go in this and tell it maybe make pin number 8 high. By this turns the LED on, and then I can tell it to wait 2 seconds, and then afterwards I want you to turn the LED off using pin number 8, and this will be in a loop and loop and loop and loop and loop. Remember that once you get into this loop, your code never goes back to the top, right? So this would be the elements that you have in your code in a basic way. So now let's just describe what we see here. So we know now that it's going to start here and then read this. And then since we're not specifying anything in these brackets over here, it's going to leave them like this. These squiggly brackets that you see over here, this indicates that the function that you are supposed to do, which is void setup, the instructions that are linked to this function are between this bracket and this bracket over here. So these two are linked. I hope that it makes sense. So this is the syntax part of it. So when it sees this, it expects these brackets, And then it knows that anything within these two brackets over here, they are related to my setup function. So it knows that, okay, I'm going to come in here, read this, do whatever's in here, and then afterwards, I'm going to move on to the next part of the code. Then it comes to this section. It says, okay, now my programmer wants me to be in this constant loop. And okay, he hasn't specified anything, so I'm just going to assume that it's going to be forever because there's no condition saying that when I will jump out of the loop. It comes here, it looks at it, it looks for these, the first bracket of the function. And then it knows that, okay, I'm going to start at this bracket and then stop at this bracket over here. So all the instructions that are between these two brackets are linked to this function right here. Then in this case now, it's going to come into this. I know that I have a loop. How long am I going to do that loop? Oh, okay. They haven't specified anything. So this means that I'll do this loop forever. It comes into this line. It reads this. It says, okay, so now it's telling me that I must make pin 8, which I've set up as an output, to be high. So now it knows that, okay, I'm going to output a high signal or give out a high signal. And then afterwards, I'm going to wait for 2 seconds. And then I'm going to make that output signal to a low again, or maybe remove the power that is on the pin. Right, so it comes here, it reads this part here, reads and does this part, and then it reads this line over here. Since it's in a loop, it knows that it's in a loop now. It goes back again to the top and then reads this. So this will continue until it breaks out of the loop. But in our case, it will never break out of the loop because we did not specify when it should break out of the loop. So I hope this is making sense. Then the other thing with regards to syntax that I wanted to explain are the semicolons. So the semicolons go at the end of each and every line. When your machine or the Arduino is reading your code, it reads this line, and when it sees the semicolon, it says, okay, that's the end of the instruction. Let me perform that instruction, and then let me go to the next one. So it comes here, performs this, and then it looks for the next instruction. It sees it. Okay, he's telling me to do this now. Oh, end of semicolon. That means that's the end of the instruction. It has read, understood the instruction, and knows where the instruction ends. Then it performs this function. Then it comes here to these brackets. It says, okay, I started at an open bracket, and then now I see a close squiggly bracket. So everything that has to do with void setup has now stopped. Then it's going to move on to the other line. It says, okay, void loop. I'm going to do this loop forever. It looks for the open bracket. Now it sees the open bracket. It says, okay, fine. I'm going to do all these instructions until I see a closed bracket. It comes over here. In this case, you have your pin mode, making it high. Then you have your semicolon. The moment it sees the semicolon, it says, okay, I'm done with this instruction. Let me do it. Then now it performs the instructions on that line. Then it goes on to the next line. It says, okay, it says here I should wait for 25 seconds. Then when it sees the end of the instruction, it says, okay, he's told me to wait for 25 seconds and that's it. He hasn't said anything further. Then it does that. It waits for 25 seconds. 25 seconds is up. Then it goes on to read the next line. Okay, so now it's telling me that pin number 8 should be low. Then it looks for the semicolon. Then, okay, I'm done with that instructions and let me perform that. Then it sees this bracket over here. This bracket tells it that, okay, you are done with the set of instructions that are linked to this function. But then when it gets here, it says, okay, but then the instruction, when I started, it told me that I need to loop. I need to do these instructions forever and ever and ever and ever. And then it goes back here, void loop. Oh, did it tell me that I should break out? Is there a condition that tells me to break out of the loop? No. And then it goes back again. and then reads and reads and reads and reads. So the elements of the syntax that we learnt about in this for this section are the brackets, these open brackets. So these open brackets give you the conditions of the function. So if you're playing soccer, for as long as you're playing soccer, you're not going to be using your hands to touch the ball, but you're only going to be using your legs to touch the ball. In that case, it's going to be kicking. Then we have your squiggly, then we have your squiggly brackets. The squiggly brackets tell you that you're going to perform the sets of instructions that are between these brackets are linked to the condition or the function that I started at the top. So these are always followed by, so these always follow a function. So you're telling it now, okay, you're playing soccer, then all these instructions that are here are related to playing soccer. Then we learned about the semicolon. The semicolon tells the Arduino or your robot or your computer the end of the instruction. When it sees the semicolon, it says end of instruction, let me do what the instruction told me to do. And then we also learned about loop. The loop tells you to do something over and over and over and over again under the condition that is specified over here. So if I tell you to loop for 2 hours, that means you're going to do all the instructions between the open and the closed brackets. You're going to do them for 2 hours. So these are the basic elements of how the Arduino reads your code and understands it, and also the elements of syntax or grammar for computers. Cool.